Good morning. Can you guys hear me and see my screen? Awesome. Welcome to the stream, everyone. Thank you, Daniel. Morning, Prebs. Really nice day yesterday streaming. Let's get these updated real quick. 1 second. Let me update these real quick so we can get our levels. So we had the sell right out of the gate that was really good. This buy that was really good. This sell was really good. This buy was a winner. So really good day yesterday. Trading the indicator. Overall, it is really doing well. You know, in the first quarter of the year, we were up 29% day trading, and it also does swing trading as well. I did revamp all of the training videos. So if you're on here and you have the indicator, you can go back to this page. It's investwithjacob.com/TV-indicator. That's where you signed up. And if you go down, I redid all of the videos except for obviously setting it up because that's the same. But this setting up the indicator is redone. The day trading strategy video is redone here. The trend day strategy has been added. So we talk about trend days and how they're bad for day trading because of the fact that the market usually is gapped in one direction or the other and then just continues. And there's just not a great place to get an entry. And the indicator on trend days is always going to be looking for reversals because it looks for them on every day. So you're just going to get a whole bunch of, you can see here, a sell here, a sell here. You're getting areas where counter trend moves could possibly happen. However, on trend days, they don't. But 8 out of 10 days are not trend days, maybe even 9 out of 10 days. So when you do have a trend day, we just kind of move on to the next day, and I go through how to do that there. And then, of course, our swing strategy as well. So all of that has been updated. Check that out. Even if you have the indicator, go check it out because it's brand new. I just put it on this weekend. And it will help you kind of understand some of the different nuances of the indicator that will help you even maximize more profit than you probably already are. We are running incredible specials today. It's tax day in America, the worst day of the year for pretty much everyone. We pay a whole bunch of taxes that get used for things that we really didn't want them used for, but that's whatever. So I almost never do this. I'm giving 10% off the yearly indicator with code yearly10 and 30% off the first month of the monthly indicator with code monthly30. So if you go to our membership plans page and you scroll down to the indicators, those are the live calls. We'll talk about those in just a second. The indicators, there we go. Scroll down to the indicators, hit get the indicator. And if you come in here and you put in your code, so you're going to put it in all the way at the bottom. It says have a coupon. And if I put in yearly 10 here, hit enter, make sure you hit enter. It'll say coupon applied successfully. You'll see green. You go back to the top. It'll say your terms are 1 year for $531, then $590 a year with coupon yearly 10. So make sure you enter the coupon codes when you do that. And then on the screen, it can be a little tricky at the bottom. You select whether you're going to use PayPal or credit card, and then you hit sign up, and you put in your payment information on the next page. So don't think you got to put your payment or your credit card in here. It's not going to let you. Just hit this, hit sign up, and move on to the next page, and that's where you'll do your sign up. So we have that going right now. And then I just introduced something new. I talked about it last week. So we do our daily live call. It's a 1 hour call, roughly 30 minutes to 1 hour call. We go over ES and Q SPY, the Mag 7, Bitcoin, gold, and then whatever stocks anybody has a question about. The other day we went through Lockheed Martin and Boeing and Coca-Cola and a whole bunch of others. So if you have questions, bring them. You can get in there for $5. Again, that's about an hour's worth of time, me breaking down charts and whatever charts you have questions about. If you want a little bit of a discount, you can get 5 days for $20 or one trading week. So we have that new option as well. You sign up and you'll be taken to a page where there's a link where you can get on the live call for the day. So a lot of new stuff going on. We're always trying to update and think of new things to better serve our customer. Hopefully you guys are excited about that. I am. Make sure you take advantage of that discount. You do get a 30-day money-back guarantee on these. So if you want to try out the indicator we're using today, you can do it here. There's a link in the description of the video. And you can just even watch it for 30 days. And if you don't like it, you get your money back. If you do like it, like 99% of people do, then keep it. So, hello, Damien. Hello, Connie. Appreciate it. From the UK, awesome, thanks. Good afternoon, morning, yep, both, depending on where you're at, I suppose. How do you pick stock for swing trade? What is your criteria for the pool you check in? I just don't think I'm willing to monitor all the S&P stocks manually. I wouldn't, obviously, do that. First of all, my criteria for any stock is it's got to be somewhat liquid. You don't want stocks that trade very small amounts of contracts and you can't get in and out of, and the spreads are really wide. That's just not going to be conducive to good trading. You want stocks that move and are liquid. So I generally stay within like the Mag 7 or Bitcoin, things that are slightly volatile that will move a little bit for you. You can also do gold or silver. Those don't move as much. Gold's been moving like crazy lately, but maybe not as much as the Mag 7. But I would keep it to the indexes or indices and the Mag 7 mostly. So about 10 things to monitor. And you only got to go through them on Friday, at least the way I do it. I use the weekly signal for the swing. So on Fridays, you can go in and see if there's anything producing a buy or sell and go from there. If you are new here and you're wondering what we're talking about with the indicator, we did at Invest with Jacob create a IWJ Pivot Point Pro. It's our indicator. It is a day and swing trading indicator. It gives you buy and sell alerts. You need a Trading View account to use it. You also need real-time data in Trading View, which is the CME E-mini included option. It's like $7. And then this yellow is pre-market. The blue over here is post-market. We do need this on for the SPY, for the indicator to work properly. We don't trade any of this stuff here. And as I mentioned earlier, yesterday, a great day. Sell right out the rip, 5-point sell, buy, 2 points up, sell, buy. So really, really good day. Friday was a good day. If we go over to Friday, I don't trade after 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time because the second half of the day tends to be choppy. But on Friday, we got a nice buy signal here, really nice sell down here, a nice sell down here, and a really nice buy signal here. So another 4-banger on Friday. That's really, really a consistent day. Are there losing days? Yeah, we can go to Thursday and look at a losing day, right? So Thursday was a trend day for most of the first half of the day. It was a trend day down. And real quick, just how we identify a trend day. So this is the pre-market low right here. And I have that marked. I'll show you on my screen, but it moves each day for whatever the day is. So it's not marked for this day anymore. Anyway, this is the pre-market low. So they come down, they break the pre-market low right here. So let me draw a line so you can kind of see where I'm pointing here. So they come down, they break the pre-market low. That's your first sign or signal that we have a trend day on our hands, as they break either the pre-market low or the pre-market high, just depending on which way we're going. In this case, it's the pre-market low. Then at that point, all backtest of VWAP and the 21 should hold. So you get a bounce back into VWAP and the 21, which is the black and blue lines here. They hold it here, make another low, and when they break this low after holding the 21, that is a really strong sign that we're going to trend. So they come down, they make a low, they back test again, they hold, they make a new low, and so on. They back test again here. And as long as they continue to hold the 21, okay, will trend to the downside. And on those days, a lot of people like to use these LSs, which are stops, as entries. And if you had taken this as a short entry, you would have crushed there. I don't trade that way. I only trade the buys and sells, and I don't trade trend days. Once we identified this as a trend day, my group sits on our hands and says we'll wait it out and find another day. You know, there's always tomorrow, and tomorrow was a much better day. Friday and Monday were crushers. So we just sit these kind of days out. That'll help your trading quite a bit if you shift to that strategy. But again, to identify a trend day, you're going to look at the breakdown of a pre-market high or low, and then a back test of the 21 that holds, and then a new low or high, depending on which way you're going, of course. And that's a really strong confirmation that the market's going to trend in that direction. So just some tidbits there to kind of help you maximize profits using the indicator. Typically, if you just follow the buy and sell signals, you'll do really well. But if you want to try to maximize, then on trend days, you can sit out of those days so you don't get caught in some losing trades. Our levels right now, big level 537 is a high volume level. You can see they've held it a couple times, and we've got our high volume level marked. 545 is a huge level to the upside. That's going to be heavy resistance. And then to the downside, 530 is going to be a major level. So 530, 537, and 545 are going to be our main SPY levels for resistance. Of course, you're going to have tons of resistance here at 540 or so. I mentioned, so 540.80 is our pre-market high. You can see right here, I have it marked with my key levels indicator right here. So 540.80 is the pre-market high, 536.15 pre-market low. So to talk about trend days, if they break above the pre-market high, come back, test the 21, and then go back up above it, that's a trend up. If they break down below 536.15, come back up, test the 21, and VWAP, and then back down below this, that's a trend down. And then everything in between is really great and tradable. So you got a really nice range to trade today, almost 4 full points. Or over 4 full points of SPY, which is about 40 points of ES. So that's a really nice range if they stay in it. So a lot going on, and you know, that's kind of the setup for today. As far as the counts, the market really hasn't moved a whole lot. I talked about it in the video last night, so if you haven't seen that, go check that. All the counts are the same. As long as we stay in between this high right here at about 55.20 on the ES, and this low right here at about 51.46 on the ES. As long as we're in between this high and low, we can see a lot of chop and backwards, you know, range kind of behavior. Breaking out above this points us into this 5,600 to 5,800 box where I would expect rejection. I believe 56.70 is a gap close on the SPX. And breaking down below this low, that would be looking like a potential either A, B, C down and then back up into that box, or continuation to the downside depending on what kind of full structure we get. But right now we're in that no man's land where there's a lot of options on the table, so we don't have any kind of shorter term swing trades because there's no good setup. We're always looking for a setup, and once we get those, that's when we enter swing trades. Are those signals popping on candle open or close? And the answer is all. So they pop as soon as they're ready. So this buy signal right here, for instance, it could have started showing itself at 536.97 and then gone away. So there's a feature called repainting, but I use it to my advantage. I don't think it's a negative. I think it's a positive. And the reason is because yesterday, I know that for a fact, that this bar right here, this buy signal down at the bottom, it started signaling at about 535. And then all the way at the top of this bar is 537.47. So that's a 2.5 point move. We were able to take a win just in this singular 5-minute bar because we entered as soon as we saw the buy signal. As soon as it flashed, we entered the trade to get us our best possible entry because we know conditions are starting to form for a buy. And then we were able to win the entire trade in one bar. We had a runner that was trying to go up. Obviously, the runner got stopped out, but the overall trade was a winner. Now, can this start printing right here at 535 and then go down? Absolutely. And that happens occasionally. You'll probably get one of those a day, sometimes two of those a day, where you see a signal that starts and then fails, and then the next bar or two you get the signal. So I think actually over here there was a buy signal that may have appeared and gone away that we had a loser on. And I talked about that in the video. I don't always talk about these because, one, they're not on the chart, so it can be very confusing to people. And two, we have winners that go that way too. So a bar like this, for instance, this giant spike up bar, this could have been a buy signal. It wasn't. I'm just saying we have bars like this where the buy signal initiates right here at 536. They spike it all the way up. We take profit. They come all the way back down. The buy signal goes away, and we win a trade that nobody saw. So I don't talk about the winners that happen that way either, and there are some of those. So overall, most of the signals print. So if you start to see them print, they'll either print the same bar or the next bar, just kind of depending, but most of them will print. And then sometimes they print and then go away. That's part of it. And that usually happens on trend days, especially where they'll start, if they're trending down like this, they'll start to get a buy signal here and then it'll go away because they're going to continue the down move. A post I had in my room yesterday that kind of highlights this. So the whole trading style, guys, if you haven't watched the videos, is we enter a trade. So here's our flat line on the trade. At 20% profit, we take our first half of the trade off. And then, of course, we have our stop as well. Our first take, our 20% win, and our stop end up outweighing each other, canceling each other out. And then so what you're left with is all of the runners. So the second half of our trades. So for instance, this trade, we took our first half off at 20% winner, then let the rest run all the way down. We took some off down here near the lows because we had an equal low down here, so we took some off. But at any rate, you let your runners run, and that's your profit. So yesterday was a great highlight of this. I'll pull up yesterday's comment that I made in the trades so that you can see exactly what I mean by this. And then we had another winner even after that to do even better on the trades. But the trading style we use makes money because it is a well-tested trading style. It is using very good risk reward, and it's taught. So when you get the indicator, it is taught in the sorry, I'm clipping this so I can put it on the screen for you guys. So it's taught in the training how to trade exactly how I trade. So this was yesterday, and this is just what I highlighted. So today is a perfect example of why the strategy we use works. Our winner, our first take was 64 cents profit, and the total was $1.14. Then we had a 44-cent loser. Then we had a 32-cent winner, 37-cent loser, 28-cent winner. So the total was 93 cents of profit. For 930, we actually cashed another trade after that to take it over $1,000. This was a really good day, over $1,000 on the day for a few trades, and because we're only trading 10 contracts right now because the volatility is so high. Normally I would trade 25 contracts, and this would be about $2,500. But because the volatility and price of options and premium is so high, we have reduced our options contracts to 10 because you just don't want to get crushed on bad days, and you're going to have bad days. So anyway, you get 3 winners, 2 losers, but the small winner basically cancels out the small loser, basically cancels out the small loser, and then the extra here was profit. So for the day, $930, pretty good day for a couple hours of work. Caveats. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. There are going to be losing days. They're going to be losing weeks. There are going to even be losing months. I know that sounds really shocking that you can have a losing month and still be a winning trader, but that's just how it goes. I mean, we document every single one of our trades. I always put them up here. I'll pull that up here in a little bit later on. But for the year last year, we were up 35% on a 100K account, so $35,000. And this year, we're already up 29% on a 100K account. And that is documented by one of my paid subscribers, not by an employee or myself. I mean, I document my trades myself, but I think it's more valuable to hear it from Matt, who does it on his own because he wants to verify that what I'm saying is accurate. So that's one caveat. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. Every trade is not going to be a winner. Every day is not going to be a winner. You have to understand discipline, trading management, have a good trading plan, have good trade sizing. All of that matters in becoming a successful trader. So keep that in mind. Really, really important stuff. I say it every day in my group because repetition hopefully breeds the learning of it. But emotion is the devil as far as trading goes. You want to keep emotion as far away from your trading as possible. If you're having a bad day, don't trade. Like if you're mentally just spent because you got in an argument at home or your boss or whatever, or you got in a whatever, just anything's going on that you're not mentally right, I wouldn't trade. I would just say there'll be more trades tomorrow because that anger and frustration's already there. You start to lose a trade, you get more angry, you let it run, you make mistakes, you lose money. And that's the opposite of what we're trying for here. We want to make money. So you always want to put yourself in the best mindset possible for trading. What are the gamma level indicators? It's called MentorQ. So MENTHORQ. You have to get a paid subscription from them. I have one because I trade full time, and I think it's about $100 a month, $99 a month. But it gives you really, really strong levels. And those levels, so I always like to see those levels and see trades come off of those levels. So, yesterday we came right into the pre-market high here, so that's a strong level. That comes from the key levels indicator. And we got a sell right off of the pre-market high, which is a beautiful sell because that's where you want to see a sell, right off the resistance zone. And that's why this is a great indicator. It's price action forward looking. So it's not trying to sell down here after you get a whole bunch of bars in place and then some crossovers and moving averages happen and blah, blah, blah. It gets you in at the top of the move or the bottom of the move. Now this one's a little late on the top of the move, but still gets you in at a perfectly good, reasonable place. Down at the bottom of the move, top of the move. I mean, that's what we're looking for is tops and bottoms. Again, no trades after 10 o'clock apply. We do not trade after 10 o'clock. So even though this trade into the close was a really nice winner, we didn't have it because I don't trade those after 10. Again, guys, I never discount the yearly 10% off. And when you get the yearly, you get 50% off of Trade Waves Academy if you want to get that as well, which comes with the Elliott Wave for Beginners course, the Elliott Wave Advanced course. It comes with a lot of stuff. 10 modules, 2 hours each. Never and hardly ever discount the yearly, but it is tax day. The tax man's taking your money, so I want to give you some back. Give you a little tax refund on your indicator and give you that discount. The discount codes last as long as the live stream. So keep that in mind. When the live stream's over, the discounts are over. It's just a reward for joining the live stream because I really appreciate you guys being here. Thank you very much. We got about 5 minutes here. I'm going to go ahead and get set up for our first trade. So we are in a buy cycle right now. You can see in the pre-market, this is a good way to get prepared for the day. We're in a buy cycle. So our first trade is likely to be a sell. So I'm going to go ahead and set up for a sell trade so that once the trade is ready, I don't have to set up my trade and spend a minute trying to get my trade set up because in day trading, a minute can cost you the whole trade. You have to be operating quickly. This market moves, especially right now, this market is moving 3, 4, 5 SPY points in one bar, which is just insanity. It used to be that was a whole day of movement, and now that's happening in a 5 minute bar. It's just nuts. The volatility has been crazy. I think it's slowing down though. Yesterday was much cheaper. Today we've chopped all night, no real move. So we'll see what the prices are today once we open. And if they're better, I may go back to 25 or 15 contracts or something like that. Questions while we get ready here. Type in any question you want. Ask me anything. I'm an open book. You can ask me anything from my family all the way to trading to my favorite sports team. I don't care. I'll answer it. Pretty open person. I'm pretty honest with my people. I don't try to hide anything. I'm not, I show up on these live streams. I show up in my room every day. I'm a real person. I'm not a bot. You can talk to me and ask me questions, and I take care of my people. The thing that makes me the happiest is when my people succeed, because I already know how to trade. I do this all the time. I was doing it before. Trading is a lonely game. So I wanted to do two things. I wanted to help other people learn how to trade. I wanted to inform them of the potential stock market crash that I think we're facing and could ultimately be in right now. I don't know. We haven't confirmed that yet, but we're getting there. And when that does happen, I want people to have their money safe. I am very big proponent of helping people and giving back and gratitude and honoring, what is good in the world and the universe. I believe that if you help, it comes back to you tenfold. And if you hurt, it comes back to you tenfold. Karma's a real thing. And that's why I'm here. I love helping people. I love the success stories. I've had several people quit my room with emails sent to me that said, hey, you've taught me how to fish. I know how to trade. For the first time in my life, I'm making money every day or every week or whatever. And unfortunately, I no longer need your service, but I'm super grateful for whatever you provided. Those are the greatest emails I can get. I lose a customer and I'm excited about it. So that's why I'm here. That's what I want to do. So again, ask me whatever you want. I'm an open book. Happy to talk about whatever. We are getting ready here. We got about 1:18 until we get started. Morning, Sam. Welcome, David and Robert and Damien. Appreciate y'all being here. So a sell off of this 540.80 area. Sell signal would be great there. That's the pre-market high. Always looking for that kind of reaction because it is selling off of a key level. So we always like that. If we can get up there before we get a sell signal. If they break above the pre-market high, we have to be on alert for a trend day, which isn't always the best trading day. It's early here. 5:30 a.m. comes early, that's for sure. All right, we are open. Option prices are pricing in about a 100-point move today, so still very volatile. I'm going to stay at 10 contracts. Small little gap here on the 5-minute. They'll come back and fill that most likely before they continue too high. All right, they just did. Filled that little gap there. Moving up into our pre-market high zone. So these are always important levels because they tend to reject. Most days tend to respect the pre-market highs and lows, at least for a while. And again, an instant break above it will likely lead to a pullback. And as long as that pullback is able to hold VWAP in the 21, we would expect a new high. And if they make that new high, that's a very high indication of a trend day. All right, coming into that pre-market high area. Let's see if they reject here at all and give us any kind of sell back down to VWAP. Hello, horse. Oh, wait. Whores. My bad. Nice name. Hi, buddy. Good morning. My son just woke up. He came to say good morning. He's got 15 days till he turns 1. That's crazy. Man, time goes fast. All right, there's the rejection off the pre-market high. Hit it to the penny, rejected. No sell signal yet. Tough entry when we get it here because we're going to be right on top of VWAP, but a lot of times when they reject the high, they're going to come down to the low, so we still have plenty of room to the downside. If we get a failed breakout, then we get a breakdown into the low, and we'll see what happens there. They can do two things. Obviously, they can come down and bounce off of the low, or they can come down and break down and do this as well. So this is a pretty ideal candle because it starts to show the weakness. It didn't break all the way down, and then it's probably going to close higher, closer to the pre-market high, which hopefully will get us a better entry into the downside. The indicator is looking at about 174 things at once, and they're all weighted differently. So there's, more strength put on, say, a certain level, a certain support or resistance level than, say, some things that are backward looking. Like it still looks at some backward things like the MACD and other things. It's still calculating that in the background, but it's less weight. So the weight of high volume levels, or key support and resistance, price action, chart patterns, candlestick patterns, all of those weigh differently in how they're viewed in analyzing whether the market has reached a top or bottom that is sufficient for trading. Okay, let's see if we get a sell here. If we do, I'm going to be on strike 538 for right now, unless they move it lower. Then we'll have to adjust that. But for now, we're at 538. So the two ways I combat the high premiums we have to pay, that we're paying right now because of the high elevated volatility. One way is to size down the amount of contracts. So I went from 25 contracts down to 10. That's a 60% reduction in contracts. And also, instead of being right at the money, normally I would be, at 539 here. I move $1 or $2 out of the money. Because the volatility is so high, if I'm right, we're going to get a big move anyway. And if I'm wrong, I don't want to have to overpay for my premium. So just keep those things in mind when premiums are elevated. It'll help you save money on your losing trades. And that's, really what you want to see and do is you want to minimize losing and maximize winning. And that's really to sum up trading in the smallest possible sentence. Minimize your losses, maximize your gains. So many people minimize their gains and maximize their losses because of emotion, and that just crushes your account. They get a small win and they get afraid of losing it, so they take the small win and close out, and then they start to lose, and they're like, well, it'll go back, and then it doesn't go back, and then it exceeds their stop, and they take a bigger loss than they should have and a smaller win than they should have, and it skews their risk-reward, and that is a problem in trading. So you got to have the guts and the courage to understand your targets, understand your trading philosophy, and follow through. Otherwise, fear will control you, and you will lose money, even when you're winning. Somebody asked, "How many trades do you win?" And that's really an irrelevant statement because it's all about risk reward. So if my winning trades are getting 3 units and my losing trades are losing 1 unit, I only have to win 1 out of 4 trades to break even. So it's only a 25% win rate just to break even. A 50% win rate puts me very positive. So the amount of trades you win is irrelevant. It's how your risk reward is defined. And it's got to be realistic. I mean, you can't have 1,000,000 to 1 risk reward. That's silly. The biggest or the easiest way, so I see that David says that's me, and I'm sure he's talking about the emotional trading. The easiest way to overcome that is to size down until you get comfortable. And even then, you should never be more than 5% of your total capital involved in a trade, and 5% should be one you're very happy with the setup, like it's a really nice setup and you're excited about it. But size down. Go to like a 1% trading model where you're only trading 1% of your capital, so that if you lose a portion of a trade, you're not even losing the full percent, because you should never let a trade go to 0. But you're not even losing a full percent. You're losing a portion of 1%. And so like 5 full mistakes still only cost you about 2% of your overall portfolio if you make 5 terrible decisions or just have a bad run of trading, because 5 losing trades in a row can happen. So all of that is really important. Okay, so they hit the pre-market high, back-tested VWAP. Now they're above the pre-market high, so now we have to watch for a trend day. Trend days, unfortunately, are not going to be great trading days, but we'll see. Sometimes they give a failed breakout, which is an incredibly good pattern to trade. So we always take 1 or 2 shots at this, because what you get is you get the break above the pre-market high, and then they come back to test VWAP, and then they just keep going. So keep that in mind. We will always take a shot or 2 at a reversal, but keep in mind that when they move above the pre-market high, excuse me, I have the hiccups. When they move above the pre-market high, that's a warning that they're going to try to trend. And if that's the case, then you're just not going to get great trades. You're not going to get a buy signal here, because the buy signal happened right here. And the market has done nothing but go up, so why would it give you another buy signal? It doesn't need to. So you're not going to get a market buy right here. That's why we're looking for a sell. So keep that in mind as well. Again, guys, while we wait, I revamped all of the training for the indicator. So once you get to that investwithjacob.com/TV-indicator page, all of the videos are new on there, and they talk about trend days. They talk about my trading strategy. They talk about the new setups. You don't have to do the 3-panel thing anymore. So all of it's been updated and revamped. And then we also have our daily call. You can go in and sign up for the daily call for $5. And that gives you a chance just to kind of see what the room is all about, to see what the analysis is. I mean, that's just one piece of it. Obviously, you get trades in there as well. You get our swing trades, and you get market updates all throughout the day. You get a closing call. All of that is part of the room. But at least the daily call will give you an idea of what to look for. In my room. and you can do it for $5. Super cheap. Lets you get a lot of information. Again, we go through the Mag 7, Gold, ES, NQ, SPY, RTY, whatever you guys ask for, we'll do, and go that route. Okay, let's see if we can get any kind of sell signal here. Hello, Garish. Nice to have you. Right now, we're waiting for a trade. If you want to go back and listen, there's been a lot of learning going on and updates. Appreciate you guys being here. So far, so slow. Going straight up here, which, just 15 minutes in, so we'll see. See how we do. We got another big key level, the yesterday's high at 544.30. Rejection there would be likely. 545 is the gamma wall. So if we zoom out just a little so we can see that. Maybe a little more. Yeah. So there's our gamma wall at 545. Would expect rejection there for sure. So you got yesterday's high and the gamma wall right on top of each other. So this area right here at 545 is the next major resistance zone. That doesn't mean that at any point in here they can't give a little stop and back test. So they stop, come back, and then go. Just to kind of screw traders. That's a common stop run that they'll do so that you don't get the full value of the run. Market makers have to create liquidity, and they have to get traders out so that they don't have to pay everybody. So they do that by smashing it down a little bit, stopping everybody out, and then coming back up because they don't want to have to hedge everything. So it could be that you cannot trade for a day if there's no signal, or if it's a trend day. There's a lot of reasons not to trade, and that's okay. You shouldn't trade every day. Not every day is a good trading day. That's a so if you look at, like, say, sports bettors, right? Professional ones, not idiots. If you look at professional sports bettors, they are looking for like one trade a week, maybe three, up to three, or maybe one trade a day if they're aggressive. But they're not looking for trading just because they're bored, or trading because they want action, or trading because they like to trade. They're looking to trade to make money. Okay, let's see if we get a sell here. Let's slow down. We're going to be at 540 strike right now. See if we get a sell signal. And I don't think there's ever been a day where we haven't had a signal. But there are trend days where we ignore the signals or don't trade, things like that. But that keeps you out of trouble, right? Overtrading blows up accounts. Boredom blows up accounts. Lack of discipline blows up accounts. I can tell you right now, day trading, if you do it right, is an amazing business and horribly boring. Just is. But I'm willing to sit here and stare at a computer for 8 hours to make, between 1,000 and 5,000 a day. We made, over 1,000 yesterday. And then when we're trading 25 contracts, that can go, 2.5 times, 3 times higher than that. So, or I guess 2.5 times higher than that. So I'm willing to do that and say, yeah, rather than go have somebody be my boss and tell me what to do all day, I can tell myself what to do and be bored, because I'd be bored at work if I was at a job, and make my own money and control it and be in control. And be in control of my vacations and everything else. So I welcome the boredom. And on trend days, you can go take a walk, take a nap. You can do all kinds of fun stuff. Exercise. Take your kid to the park if it's the summer. Trading should not be this overwhelming, I must trade feeling. It should be, I'll trade when it's right. And a long meditative session. That's a great one, Grish. I do a lot of that now. I actually, I told you I'm an open book. Not that long ago, I was figured out I have ADHD. I never knew as a kid or anything else. I grew up in Kentucky, and the South's a little different. Um, ADHD in the South was get smacked in the back of the head and be told to pay attention. And there's a lot of that because you don't focus on anything, and then you hyper focus. It's weird. But meditating helps a lot with that. So I've been doing a lot of that. That's one of the changes I've made in my life that's for the positive. Because ADHD and trading can be explosive. I know because when I was younger, I blew up accounts. And on top of bad trading, the ADHD exacerbated that. So it was, as I've come to go back and reflect on my life and different things in it and how I've reacted. But yeah, ADHD is very different than I thought after doing a lot of research on it. And meditation is a good help to it. But it's why I became so good at Elliott Wave, because my hyper focus kicked in. I did nothing but Elliott Wave for like a year, and I got to where I really understood it well. So, yeah. Anybody who's a trader that is successful most likely blew up an account or two. That's, kind of day trading, swing trading. If you're just buy and hold, obviously that's a little different story. But if you're trying to day and swing trade and you're successful, it means you've done it for a while. And you probably learned a lot of lessons along the way. 95% of day traders fail and are losing traders. So when people say, oh, you're scalping for 30 cents, yeah, because that 30 cents adds up a lot. A lot. Do you have a Ritalin party on the weekend? No, I don't take any medicine. They gave me one and I didn't like it. And I'm supposed to try a different one. I hate medicine. I would like to do anything but medicine. I think modern medicine is about more money than fix, but that's me. I don't want to get into conspiracy theories. I hate medicine. I want to stay as far away from it as I can, unless obviously I'm not an idiot. If I have a disease or cancer or something, I need to get what I need to get. But I'm just talking about taking pills for the sake of taking pills. That's not really my thing. And I'm not like an anti-vaxxer or anything. I want to stay away from medicine and putting things in my body that are chemically created and not naturally. But I'm not stupid enough to say I don't need any medicine or any vaccines or anything like that. Welcome to the ADHD club. I love my ADHD and have learned to embrace it. Yeah, once you kind of understand it, it has some superpowers. It definitely has some drawbacks, but yeah, being able to understand it is a big component. That changed a lot for me. Once I could never figure out why in traffic I wanted to destroy everyone. I wish I had a tank. And part of that's your ADHD, not being able to deal with those situations. So you just figure it out and get better. Do you always wait for the indicator, or do you sometimes open a trade without the indicator? 99% of my trades are with the indicator. There are times where, let's say we get a buy signal right here. Just for the sake of your question, let's say this was a buy, right? And this came down and stopped us out right here on a back test of VWAP, and then they started back up. I could definitely see a case where I would enter a trade here on occasion, depending on the setup and different things. So I've definitely done that before, where we got our first take. This was a profit. They pulled back and stopped us out, and I said, no, this is bouncing. This looks like a trend. We should be long here. I've definitely done that before. But 99% of my trades come from the indicator. Because I've come to find out that when I start injecting my trades into things, it mucks it up. The indicator is smarter than me, even though I built it, because it's looking at everything. And that's the big difference, guys, is I can't look at, no one can. No one can look at all of the things the indicator is looking at all at the same time. And you're going to miss things. So you're going to miss trades because you didn't see that this part of the process over here was a great setup. Or you're going to miss trades, or you're going to enter because you saw this part was good, but you didn't see that this part over here was bad. So the indicator makes sure that everything is in alignment for you without you having to look at everything. It's really a shortcut. And then it's so successful, one of my subscribers, paid subscribers, has sent me. So in my videos, if you look in the background, you'll see 5 or 6 bottles of bourbon. The tall bottles of bourbon are a collection, and they are a very difficult to get collection. And one of my users has sent all of those to me. And if you look online, that whole collection together is probably $8,000 worth of bourbon. And he sent it to me because he has found so much value in the indicator and made so much money with it that he's appreciative. And so when you start injecting your own trades in, you're not factoring in everything. The indicator is. And that doesn't mean that you can be right and the indicator can be wrong. Of course, that can be the case. You could short here and the indicator could not give a short until lower, and you could win the trade and the indicator might lose the trade. That can happen. But more often than not, it's not going to happen that way. So I found that when I inject my own trades, it's very hit or miss. It's not nearly as consistent. Best meds are a good bourbon. That is a fact. That is a fact. Still in a slow grind here toward, some key levels. 544, 30, yesterday's high, and then 545, very key area to short off of. Doesn't mean they can't short here or turn down here, but those would be key resistance levels. Sometimes they come up short of key resistance levels. Sometimes they spike above them. Sometimes they hit them exactly. It just kind of depends. All different ways to. So the reason they do those things isn't because they're like, oh, it's so hard to control price. They know exactly what they're doing. So when they come up short, they are trying to screw the guys that are going to take profit at that line and short at that line. So 2 people get screwed there. So that's what happens when they come up short. When they go through, okay, they try to stop out the people who wanted to short here, and then the longs took profit and they kept going, so they can spike through and then turn down. And if they hit it right on the number, then they hit it right on the number, and everybody's happy. Maybe Tuesdays are the wrong days to do this. They always seem to be slow. We always have slower days getting, like yesterday was a great day. The very first candle we had a short and down 5 points we went. It was awesome. Today, just slow grind. Tuesdays seem to be the slow day of the week. Maybe I'll switch it. Need some Trump news? Yeah, some kind of volatility, right? Right now it's just a slow grind higher. Let's look at internals. I'm sure they're bullish, but let's take a look here. Internals are, yeah, fairly bullish on the Vold and Pretty bullish on the ADD. They're up 12. They're at 1268 on the ADD. That's not too bad. Let's go back to our trades. So still waiting for a short trade here. I've moved my strike up to 541. I have my trade set up. That is not what already. I said that at the beginning of the day, but if you just joined, I have my trade. I know we need a sell because we're on a buy, right? So you have this buy right down here that they've taken it up all the way through from the pre-market all the way into the regular trading hours. So the next trade is going to be a sell. So I have my sell set up, and I just continue to move my strike up with that sell and have my spread set so that I can get in the trade really quickly. So what I mean by that is right now 541 is going for about 468 roughly. So I have my limit at about 475, which gives me 7 cents of width on that trade. Because what I want to do is get in as quickly as possible at the best price as possible, but not, I repeat, not use a market to trade. You will get screwed. And so I give myself about 7-8 cents so that as they move down, if they're moving quickly and I hit the buy button to buy the puts, I have a 7-cent window in there to still get my limit trade through, which is why I get through so many trades so quick. So a little trick there to try to get yourself set up for the trade. Wouldn't mind seeing a retrace to VWAP at 540. That's about $2 to the downside and see what happens. But we'd like to get the entry as soon as possible here. So let's see if we can get a sell signal. For calculating your stops, I train again. All this is in the training, but so right now we're at about 540.60. So my stop, because we have high volatility, would be about 60 to 70 cents higher than that. So if it was 541.60, our stop would be 542.20. That's 60 cents. You could go up to 542.40 or so. You want to give yourself some space because normally you don't move 2 to 5 points in one 5-minute bar. You know, right here they moved from 540 to, this was a $1.50 bar. That would be a big bar in a normal market. The market lately has been, these bars have been 2 to 5 points. So you want to give yourself a little bit wider of a stop because of that volatility, and it means you might lose a little more up front, but when you're right, you're going to win more. So that's a give and take that you have to make an adjustment on. So we're still at 541 for our strike. We'd like to get in sooner than later because VWAP's going to be good support, as is the pre-market high, but we may test the 21 down here, so we'll see. There's our sell. We're going to get in at 514. And our stop is going to be 542. Actually, 542.10 is going to be our stop. So this is a this is going to be one of those repaints, right, where they come down and give you the sell signal and then it goes back up. We'll see if they can hold 542.10 here, come back down. We went pretty wide on that stop because, again, the volatility is crazy and you're likely to get some retrace. So we're back into our sell signal here, trying to be anyway. Hopefully they can hold this bounce. Yeah. Not looking promising. Oh, held by 2 cents so far, so well. If we do win this trade, these are the best trades to win when you nail your stop. If we don't, you know, we get stopped out. That's life. Get a little bit of follow through here. Come on, find that failure. Too much pressing on the upside here. Typically, if they're going to do this, they're going to fade away in the first or second try. So I would imagine we're going to push here, but we'll see. We'll see if they can hold it. No, there it went right there. They got us. Okay, we stopped out at 490 there. But if they bring this back down, we will re-enter that trade. So that was a, what, 24-cent loss on that trade. Nothing crazy, especially considering you're in for $5. A 24-cent loss isn't much at all. Again, that's the repainting I was talking about. You'll see that sell come in or buy, and then it'll go away because the market went back up. And that's going to happen sometimes, and you're going to get winners that you'll see that on too. So you get winners and losers like that. The opposite would be true if they gave us a sell signal there, shot it down to the 21, we take a profit, and then they shot it straight back up, and the signal went away. But we got to be careful of potential trend day here. They're coming back to test. They've already broken above the pre-market high. If they can come back and fully test the 21, I'd feel better. But taking out this high, we'll take one more shot if we get up here to the yesterday's high and the 545 zone. So 544 to 45 would be a great zone. And if they flip this again, we'll get back in. We'll rerun that short. We'll give them another chance. But yeah, that's where we're at right now. So essentially what the indicator is telling you right now is it sees weakness in the buying. So we're still in a buy cycle. Even when that sell signal comes up, we're still in a buy cycle. But it's saying, hey, there's enough weakness here that we're looking for this buy cycle to end and the market to turn down. And when we get that, okay, we're going to give this a second here. I don't like when sell signals come out and just run green like that. So we'll give them a second to fail here, even though you could get a better price. I'm not going to take it. Okay, we're going to go with it at 492. And our stop is going to be 542.50. Excuse me, that's not correct. Damn it. What is this one right here? 542.60. 542.60. We'll try one more short here. Okay, we just hit the 7 o'clock. Was there news at 7? Getting a little faster movement. Not like anything crazy, but the movement is a little better. So we're essentially saying, guys, that we don't want this to take out this red candle high. So that's why we went to 60. It gives us a little bit of room above that. The rejection off of this candle should hold if they're going to move down. I looked at the wrong candle for the price the first time. So we can see that this area, the top of this red bar, is providing rejection for now. It's certainly not great solid rejection that we want to see, but you saw that this candle closed there. This candle moved straight down off of there. This next green candle couldn't get up to there. They came up and touched it on this candle, but can't get through yet. They may power through it here, but that area is where you want to see them hold. They're pushing through now, so we'll see if they can kind of hold that zone. Appreciate you being an open book. Do you mind sharing we can learn about the 170 plus things the indicator look? Would love to automate to learn findings, teach us to fish. So that's Trade Waves Academy. There's a lot of stuff in there that basically goes over the breakdown of how we use all of the stuff in the indicator. I don't, as you're going through Trade Waves Academy, I don't go, here's one of the things in the indicator to learn. But all of the things that are put in the indicator are taught in that course. And if you, right now you're getting 10% off the yearly indicator, and that would give you 50. So if you get the yearly indicator, you get 50% off of Trade Waves Academy, which is 10 2-hour classes. That goes through options, goes through moving averages, support and resistance, price action, a whole bunch of stuff. Psychology, which is huge. So in that class, you can learn about those. And you can get that for half price if you get the indicator, which you can get for 10% off. So you're getting a lot of discounts today for the tax man. All right, we've held so far. We got back into the sell zone. Let's see if they can follow through at all. We saw this on the last candle. There was no follow through. Is there some thumb rule for keeping the stop? For example, 1 to 2 risk reward. So the stop is, I went over that earlier. It's about 50 cents, but right now on a general day. But right now, because the market is so volatile, I've increased it to 60 to 70 cents because you're just getting too many wild moves where you're getting poked out at 50 cents and then the market goes in the right direction. So, so now we're in a doji situation, by the way, on this sell below this low, and they should follow through, above this high, and they should follow through. So whichever one breaks first will likely lead to follow through. We'll see if they're trying to break the top immediately here, which is a okay. So we're getting consolidation here. So this is not the worst thing as long as your stop will hold. Definitely can see them do something like this for a minute and then break down or break out. Consolidation doesn't mean breakdown or breakout. It just means they're fighting for price here. But we just need them to hold that 542.60. Are you trading 417 options? No, I trade 415 and oh my gosh. I'm glad somebody said that. I am glad somebody said that. How did I get on 417? Oh my gosh. So sorry, we got stopped out there, guys. Wow. That was terrible. Let me fix that. My bad. My bad. So I wasn't, I click on a chart and then I move on. I did not look at the expiration. I thought for sure I was on today. I am on 417. I was wondering why somebody would ask such a random date, and it's because of price. So yeah, I've been trading 417 options today. So there's that. It helped us with our stops at least. So we did stop out there at 441. And let me look at today's options pricing. That's going to be a lot different. Wow, that's how did I do that? That's a misclick right there. Sorry about that. That makes a lot more sense for, okay, options prices are $2 today. That makes a lot more sense for the type of move we're getting. Typically on bull grind days, okay. Well, my bad, guys. My bad. See, I'm human. I make mistakes. That was really bad. Anyway, well, now we'll be on today's options moving forward. So we got stopped here. The alternate strategy, so on trend days, which is looking like this may be a trend day, which again are terrible trading days. But the alternate strategy, I do not trade this strategy. I always want to be clear about that. This is not something I do, but other people do, and they've said they've had success with it. So I just put it out there as a do you. Is if when you get a sell on a trend day and then you get a sell stop, to treat that as an entry for a long. Again, I don't trade that. I think it's too hard. And the reason I think it's too hard is because this sell here, even though we're in a trend day, is telling you that the buying is starting to weaken. Doesn't mean they can't continue to trend even for the rest of the day, but it does tell you there's weakness in the buying. And they're going to give us this spike in reversal, aren't they? Man, that's going to stink if they do. Oh, that's super annoying. So all they did here, guys, was run stops. This is a stop run. Maybe a two-way stop run, but definitely a stop run. So all of the shorts got stopped when they did this, and now the longs are going to get stopped out when they do this. So they can run a two-way stop and then go higher, get everybody out. Good way for the market makers to make money, or they can just continue down from here. I'd like them to grind up a little higher into this 455 zone. We'll try one more, hopefully get one more sell off of that area. We'll see how that goes. If the SS does not survive the candle, will you enter again? No, I gave him two chances, right? I gave him two chances right here on this sell. So I want to see another sell develop. I would like to see him stop out and then produce another sell signal before I get short again. One thing I'm not afraid to do, and you shouldn't be either, this is really important. You should not be afraid to miss a trade. It's going to happen if you're trading correctly, that you're going to miss trades. You're going to miss longs. You're going to miss shorts for whatever reason. You know, we got stopped out here. If they continue down, they continue down. There's going to be another trade in 15 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, tomorrow. There's no need to have FOMO of trading. There's always another trade. There's always another chance. The market's open basically 7 days a week. Not quite, but basically. You can trade something over the weekend. You can trade Bitcoin. There's always something to trade. So I don't ever worry about missing a trade. That's not important. Doesn't matter. And all it's going to do is cause you anxiety and stress and bad trading because you're going to want to chase the move after you miss it. So just wait till the next signal. Let's just chill. I like to, I don't have it today. Okay, here we go down. I don't have it today because I'm live streaming, but I like to just chill and listen to music. And see, that would have been a winner right there. It would have been a hard one to get though. But they're trying to sell. So these are instances where the indicator's right. It saw weakness here, and there is weakness. And you know they've dropped it from 542 to 540, but they spiked everybody out first, right? They ran a stop out. That's just how they do it sometimes. They brought it down to 540 in an instant. So they made it really hard to trade this. Now, if they follow through, obviously you'll do fine, but they made it hard up here. This was a very difficult trading area because of this bar right here. That happens. That's part of trading. You know, like I said, missing trades is part of trading. Doesn't have to produce a buy before it pops another sell signal. No, it would produce a sell stop. So if you get a sell signal, right, and then the sell stops out, it can produce another sell signal. Yeah, so sell signal's great, except for this bar right here. So these are instances, guys, where there's nothing you can do about this. The indicator gave you a great read. They decided to pop it higher before dropping it, and we missed the trade because of it, because it stops us out. And that's just part of trading. There are going to be times when the indicator is right, but you don't get the trade. There's going to be times when you get part of the trade and they stop you out and continue. That's just part of trading. So unfortunately, this is a really nice move, and we were on it, and they stopped us out. So kind of a jerk move right here by them. This was a stop run. But see, part of mindset is what you put out to yourself. What do you put out to your body? What's around you? I won't get spiritual, so I'll keep that out. But I believe that, and I believe in the power of positive thinking. I'll put it that way. And if you're going to say, of course I missed this trade, of course I did. Well, you're going to put yourself in a lot of positions where you're going to get to say that. Of course I missed whatever it was. For me, I say I built a product that works. We had an unfortunate bar here, but man, what a good read for this short. And we'll get the next trade because that's typically what happens. This is an anomaly, right? When we get a sell signal, we rarely get a new high drop follow through like that. It's going to be more likely just follow through. That's the whole point. But sometimes you get these kind of moves. That's just what it is. So now you got a failed breakdown, which means they're probably going to test the pre-market low at 536.15. Whether they bounce first or not, to be determined. But very, very often when you get a failed breakout, they come all the way down to the bottom of the range, which is here. So we'll see if they're able to follow through down to that level. I was short on first time, closed, went long, got stopped. So I gave you that alternate strategy again. I don't trade it because of that very reason. I think it's a very hit or miss strategy. they were setting up for a trend, but they've never. So the first qualification of a trend day, right, is we break above the pre-market high. We did that. Then you got to backtest VWAP in the 21. Well, they haven't done that. They still haven't done it. They still haven't done it. Now they did it and they failed. So that doesn't mean they can't come back and trend higher here. Of course they can, but they never gave you the indication that a trend day was fully set yet. So we'll see if they can do that here. The indicator works very well. Thanks, Damien. I agree. We unfortunately continue to pick days where it's either slow or trending or whatever for the live streams, but I know that all of you that currently have it should have had a lot of success over the last few weeks. There's been a few trend days in there, but a lot of very volatile movements where we caught the tops and bottoms of giant moves because the volatility was so crazy. So the big reason, guys, for the live stream is, one, I want you to see how the indicator works exactly. I think if you look at all the live streams, it's actually been profitable over the live streams, even though they've been just horrible trading days. We had one really good one the other day. We had 3 or 4 winners, but if you look, I still think it's profitable over the live streams. And this is how trading goes. This is the real reason. You need to understand as a trader, so many people are out there selling snake oil and stupidity. You need to know that as a trader, every trade isn't going to go exactly how you thought. Some trades are going to go better than you thought. Some are going to go worse than you thought. Some are going to be losers. Things happen. You get stop out bars. You get stopped out by a penny. Sometimes you hold by a penny. All of those things happen, and I want people to see what trading is really like, because it's not just all, hey, winner, yay, winner. Yeah, that's fun. We get a lot of those, more than we get losers. But the losing side of trading is the more important side to understand, because how you manage that and how you understand that really dictates how profitable you can be, if at all. You know, we had a couple sells here. We took a couple small losses. Probably could have been smaller if I was on the right time frame. I have no idea what happened to me today, clicking the 17th. But anyway, I digress. Couple small losers, but that's the whole point of the system that we use, the 20% take, right, for half, and then let the winners run, and then the quick stop outs on the losers so that we don't, get busted in the mouth too much. What's the indicator to print the PMH, PML levels on my screen? It's called Key Levels. It's by Liquid Trader. It's right here. And it can give you a whole bunch of stuff. So if you go into the settings, your inputs can be, so I put in your recent highs and lows for today, the pre-market, and yesterday, but you can put in all of these. You can put in, if you scroll down, this week's overnight high and low, an average, months, high, low, average, quarter, year. Anyway, you can put in a ton of stuff. So I only put in what I need. I love you, big girl. Have a wonderful day at school, okay? Give me big hugs. Hi. So the next major area I'm looking for is this 536.15 area. Again, once you break over the pre-market high and then come back through VWAP and the 21 and the pre-market high, that's considered a failed breakout, and you're very likely to come back to the bottom of the range, which again, 536.15. and then we'll see what happens there. They don't have to stop there, but very often that's where the minimum target is. At what point do you move your stop to break even? So I never have a break even trade, which is to say I either get stopped out or I take 20% of a win and then I move my stop to basically wherever the trade started. So if I had a $1 entry on my option and I took profit at $1.20, I might put my stop at like 95 cents to $1, so I'll have a small win on that trade no matter what. I never want to turn a winning trade into a losing or break-even trade. But once I take the 20% is when I move my stop. Can you have a sell signal, for example, then a buy signal on the next candle? No. So one of the things the indicator uses is time. It's a small factor, but it is a factor. So it runs a cycle of buys and sells. And there has to be price and time met before we get a sell. So this is a buy cycle. And when you get a buy signal, you are technically in a sell cycle. When you get a sell signal, you're technically in a buy cycle. So we're in a buy cycle on the way up here. It converts from out of sell into buy. Okay. And we're still up here around the highs, but it senses weakness and says, hey, the conditions are right for a drop. So we want to sell in this buy cycle. Then what has to happen is the bears have to complete a sell cycle and have enough time to do that. Then you'll get a buy signal. Otherwise, you just get a stop and you stay in the buy cycle. So there has to be enough time and price pass to allow exhaustion of the move. And then you can see a buy signal. So you're never going to get a sell turn into a buy. That's why people use that sell stop strategy on trend days or long stop strategy. Because if this sell fails and you get that stop, it's essentially saying it's going back into the buy cycle. So I want to buy and continue. However, the reason I don't like that strategy personally and why I don't use it is that there is a signal here of exhaustion in this move. And while they can still go higher, which they did, it's telling you that the indicator senses very much weakness in this buy cycle and is looking for a move down. And quite frankly, it had it. We got the move down, right? There's no denying that. There's just this bar right here that stopped us out. Those things happen in trading. It's frustrating, but it's part of it. Now, is it possible on one of those crazy days that we get a sell signal like here, right? And then they sell straight down in one bar, 100 points, and then we start back up? Could we get a buy signal at that time? The answer is yes. We could. But most of the time, no. In fact, 99% of the time. Because those 100.5-minute bars only come about once a quarter on like Fed day or CPI day or something like that. So as of right now, we have not entered a full sell cycle. We're still in a buy cycle. Essentially right now, you have a low, a high, and a lower high for now. I'm sorry, a higher low for now. That's what I meant to say, higher low. So you have a bull setup here. So they haven't fully pushed into a sell cycle. They can. They don't have to go lower necessarily for that. They just have to see weakness in the selling, but continue to see weakness in the buying. Continue to see weakness in the buying. Um, and then they can move back into or move in. Then they can move into a sell cycle, fail, and move into a buy cycle. But this will not be a buy signal here. They haven't sold long enough or been weak long enough. So one thing I encourage people to do, if you're these are 1 day snapshots in time. It's hard to pick the exact right day for perfect trading. Um, Try the indicator for 30 days. You don't even have to trade it. You can paper trade it. You can just watch it. You can, you know, you can trade it if you want. I encourage trading it because it's really good, and I think you'll be very happy. Um, but 1 day in a month, we have plenty of losing days in a month. You know, so 1 day in a month is not going to show the capabilities. And with the 30-day money back guarantee, you can watch it for 30 days and say, okay, I see what he's talking about. I see why this is so powerful. And then make your assessment and say, yeah, I'm going to keep going and actually trade it, or I was already trading it and made money. Um, you know, those are that is something that I encourage people to do so that you can get the full visual of the trades or the full visual of the indicator. That's why it's not like a 7-day free trial or something like that. I want you to have a full month because it's really easy to have a losing week. That happens. You know, I would say probably 1 out of the 4 weeks a month is probably a loser. Maybe less. Right around 1 a week, the 1 week a month, and then you have 3 winning weeks. Well, those 3 winning weeks, if you're trading properly, far outweigh the losing week. And that's what you're looking for. So I encourage checking that out. Sorry, I'm trying to pull up my spreadsheet here, and my computer's being a jerk. Is that time period fixed? No. No, it's different on different time frames, and it's not fixed in any way. It is just more about how the market works with time. So while we wait here, I want to talk about just how trading goes in general. So January was a record month for us. This is the first half of January. But you can see there are times where we go, we were negative here, and then we had a winner. So on the 7th, loser, winner, loser, loser, winner, winner, loser, winner, winner, loser, 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 winner, winner, loser, winner, loser, loser. So this was a record month. We made like 15 grand this month based on a 100K account. And you can see there's plenty of losing trades in here. But if you also look, there's never any 90% losers, but you have 90% winners. You have 34% winners. The biggest loser I see on here, like 24%. So this one, looking at January 14th as a heavy trading day, this was probably later in the day and probably got trapped. So even so, 25%, where most of our winners are going to be between that 12 and 20, but then the bigger ones are going to be 36, 56, 31, 34, 91, 40. So you're maximizing gains, you're running your gains out, right? And you're minimizing your losses because you're getting out quick, and you're continuing to put together winning trades that outweigh your losing trades over the course of the month. So, you're going to have losing sessions. This is 3 losers here on the 13th. So the 13th was loser, winner, winner, loser, loser, loser. So the 13th was a bad day. Up here you can see the 7th was a loser, winner, loser, winner. So it's probably close to break. We probably made a little bit of money on that day. But it's all about trading strategy, discipline, and good setups. The indicator gives you the setups. You have to put in the strategy and the discipline. Kind of a slow day. We've really gone nowhere since the open. They moved up. They did give us the sell down. Unfortunately, we got stopped out, but we're kind of back to where we started. If they can turn down below this and sustain it, so they tried several times. Another key level always to watch is the opening print. So the opening print's right here. They're basically back at it. And the opening low was right here. And they've spiked that a few times, but haven't been able to close under it. So always watch those levels, because closing under that is an indication of follow through to the downside or movement to the downside, especially after a move up to start the day. Is it possible to get an alert on a sell or buy signal? Yes. So if you come in here, so it's IWJ Pivot Point Pro, you come over to the 3 dots, you click that, add an alert. Oh, nope, that wasn't what I wanted. No, that's it. Yeah. So you got Pivot Point Pro. You can do a buy alert, a sell alert, a buy or a sell alert, a long stop, short stop, buy alert and stop, sell alert and stop. You can do a lot of different stuff. I can see several people have gotten the indicator. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. As soon as the live stream is over, you will get access, so please be patient with that. Unfortunately, we were not able to get so far into a full sell cycle. So hopefully we can see a little bit more downside here before they try to press back up. So one thing to keep in mind here, guys, that I just kind of things pop into my head. I have ADHD. One thing to keep in mind is just because I talk about what should happen, I'm not trading for that. We tried to trade up here. They stopped us out because they spiked this bar and we missed the move. That's fine. Just because I think or routinely they will come down and test the low after failing above the high, that doesn't mean I'm going to trade for that. If I get in the trade and we come down, perfect. But I'm not just going to trade because I think we're going to hit this level. And I'm not going to trade and hold and pray that we hit this level. More often than not, are we going to hit this level? Yes. But I'm not going to try to trade for that unless the indicator gives me a setup. Because this, is, again, is looking at all of the things that tell me that we're going to continue to the downside or the upside. And then it puts me in the right place at the right time. At least more often than not. Not every time, but nothing is a golden goose. Jacob, would you never trade that second candle after the alert, seeing how is a spike up then down that confirms the indicator? There are times, so I went over that earlier. There are times where I gave the example slightly different, but if you got like say a buy signal right here and they ran it up and you took some profit, like let's say this was a profitable run, and then they come back and stop you out by testing VWAP and then come back up and take out this high, sometimes that is the place to enter. I've done that before. So would I ever? The answer is yes, I've done it before. Do I normally? No. I've tend to found that when I inject my own trades in where the indicator hasn't confirmed, and this is still basically a confirmation. I get it. We're still at basically the same level. But when I interject on those, it tends to not go as well because I don't have all the other information to look at my fingertips like the indicator does. So typically, no, I would not. You certainly could. I could see why. You know, you got a sell signal here, you got a reversal bar here, and you know, they ended up getting follow through. But I could see why you would trade it. But typically, I wouldn't. Nice job, Fitness. Good trade. Keep in mind, guys, so there are two things I would say. If you're already a good trader, the indicator can enhance your trading. I have, I don't know if he's on the stream today. Sometimes he is, sometimes he isn't. Brad Vanetter has the indicator. He already had his own system, and the indicator really confirms and has taken away a lot of his false reads and made his trading even more successful. And he was already a successful trader. And more importantly, if you are not a successful trader, and be honest with yourself, guys. So many people are like, I know how to trade. And then you look at their account and you're like, no, you don't. Most people aren't honest with themselves. And it's hard. I've been there. I've been there where I knew how to trade, guys. I know how to trade. The market's manipulating me. The market's screwing me. The market's X, Y, and Zing me. Be honest with yourself. If you're not making money every single week or most weeks, and if you're not making money monthly, and definitely if you're not making money yearly, if you're losing over the year, you don't know how to trade. Then the indicator can help you fix that. And if you don't know how to trade, you shouldn't be trying to out trade something that was built to trade by professionals. So many people try to outsmart the indicator, and I just don't understand why, because yeah, we got some losing trades, but so are you going to have losing trades. And ours are built around good setups. And a trade that was placed with a good setup and a good stop that loses is still a good trade. It is a good trade. Even though you lost, you traded a good setup with a good stop and a good trading plan. That's all that matters. That's a good trade. Win or lose. But too many people want to try to out trade it or trade differently, and that's fine. There's a million ways to beat the market. But if you're not beating the market, if you're not, I would suggest using it and using it specifically the way it is written. Specifically the way I have it written, because that is a proven formula to make money in the market. And if you're not making money in the market, which most people aren't, then you need some kind of help, and this is a way to get that. Can we now assume that this is not a trend day? Not necessarily. Essentially, what you have right now is you have an attempted breakout, some consolidation here, but they still haven't broken below the open price. They've tested it quite a few times now, but they haven't broken below it. So as long as they hold that area, they can still take it higher. Now, I will say that, again, yesterday's high at 544 or whatever, I can't read it there, 544 like 28, and 540 up to 545, that's going to be incredibly tough resistance to get through. It's a gamma wall up there. That would be a place to look for rejection. But no, I don't think it's safe to say that we won't trend up. Yet, anyway. Mostly after a week of, or a week and a half, however long it's been, of 2 to 5% moves, the market needs time. I've been saying this for a while in my group, that my preferred path is a little bit lower than higher in a slow, methodical way. The market needs to reset. The oversold levels were the most since COVID, and COVID is the most ever. The only time it's ever been lower or more oversold than this was COVID. And so the market needs to regroup and heal, if not go higher. They could still go to all-time highs. That's certainly not off the table. But typically when you get to these kind of oversold levels, the market needs to chop and grind higher, if not V-shape higher. COVID was a V-shape higher. They just took it off the low and ran. And this so far has been a little bit choppy, which is what you want. You need a little bit of time. Again, just like the indicator's built for time, the market is too. That's why we use time in the indicator, because the market itself needs time and knows it. Hey, Brad. How's it going? Glad you're here. Brad's always a, I hope he still is, it was always a proponent of the indicator. So this is a good lesson here. We've gotten no signals because nothing's happened. There's been really no movement worth trading except for this move down, which we got a signal for, but again, didn't quite work out the way we had hoped. And the reason you're not getting anything is because there's no conviction in either direction. There's no exhaustion in either direction. There's no key level being traded off of in either direction. So the indicator says there's no reason to be trading this nonsense. So you don't get a signal in here. Have you noticed most times you do this live session, we have a non-moving day? Yeah, I was talking about that earlier. I guess Tuesdays suck for for good trading days, because we always have all these blast offs all week, and then on Tuesday the market's like, just go ahead and put it in neutral. It's pretty funny, really, the irony of it. But you know what? That's because they wanted me to teach today and not just to trade. So we're going to do a lot more teaching. Super choppy day. Looks like 5100 needs to get hit though. That would be my preferred path, honestly. So while we're waiting here, we can get a buy. So we got 50 seconds. Next candle could potentially be a buy signal, but my preferred path would be that this is more of a flat. So you have A, B, C up, A, B is a flat, and then C down towards 5100 or so, something down in this region, and then up into this box. That gives the market enough time to fully heal. I think that would be my preferred path, so I would like to see that path play out. And then we'll see what happens from there. But yeah, two green here. Unfortunately, they needed a little bit of red here to make this sell cycle complete. Maybe they can push it down here on the next bar, but right now the buy cycle hanging in there just barely. Maybe not. If they can just push it down a little. Yeah. Again, guys, 30% is the most you'll see off of the um, monthly indicator for the first month. 90% of the 95% of the time, there might be a Black Friday deal or something that I run, or a Christmas deal. I don't know. Maybe I give a little better than 30, but 95% of the days of the year, that's the best you're going to see. And 10% is the best you will see on the yearly indicator. You'll never see any better than that, and you will rarely see it. So take advantage if you can. I understand it's been a slow day, but um, hopefully in the bigger picture, you can see the benefits of the indicator. You know, if we go back to just even yesterday, too far, and Friday, both great days. Monster sell, the buy up, the sell down, the buy up, all winners. Really good day yesterday. Friday was a great day. Overall, more great days than not great days. Should have started trading the pre-market long. No. And the reason is, one, it's low volume, terrible trading, and because that one happened to win, you're using results-based trading. Had you taken this pre-market long here, you would have been crushed. Here, crushed. Here, crushed. So yeah, the fourth tries the charm. Is that what we're going to go for? No, pre-market trading is awful. We should not have taken the long. We were exactly right to not do that. Don't use results-based trading. Don't look at a bad setup or a bad trade. Not a bad setup, a bad trade or a bad something that breaks the rules. This isn't necessarily a bad trade. It just breaks the rules, which is we don't trade the pre-market. And don't look at something like that and see a result and say, oh, I should have played it. That's like having 2-7 in poker against aces and you fold it and the flop comes 2-7-7 and you're like, I should have played 2-7. No, you shouldn't have. You would have lost 99 times and won that one. Don't let results fool you into bad trading. It's a very easy thing to do. If you'll hear me preach anything, it's discipline and trading plan. It's the only way to be a successful trader. There are a million trading styles. There are a million ways to beat the market. There are a million successful ways to trade. There is only one way to do it. Discipline, trading plan. You can have the best style of trading in the whole wide world that just sets up for crushers, but because you didn't have discipline and you don't have a trading plan, you'd still be a losing trader. All right, we are now eligible for a buy signal. So let's see if we can get one here. I do have a current 542 strike set up on today, on the 15th, tax day, not the 17th. I don't know how in the hell that happened. Still crazy. I just figured, normally I'd look at it and be like, $5, that's crazy. But option prices have been so high lately that that seemed reasonable. And so, yeah, I was on the wrong date. It's hard because I have I can see how I did it. I have a live stream screen up. I have a trading screen up. I have a trading view screen up. I have a Discord screen up. And everything's overlapping slightly. So I can see how I missed the date. Live streaming is a lot. So my apologies if you were confused by the strike and exits on those, or the premium and exits on those, but that's why we were on the wrong date. So you have a dull tape here. You have a positive price. You have a positive Dow Jones Transports, even though it's flat. It's flat, but still green. The banks are very positive. SMH and NVIDIA positive. So it's a not a great, typically not a great setup for a short. Typically. In fact, this is setting up more to squeeze up. Even if it's just a 545, because they are the bears are unable to break any kind of support whatsoever here. The bulls have defended well. So we'll see if the bulls can squeeze. If not, then 536.15 comes into play. Back over these highs, though, here at 541.85. And very likely we head back up and challenge the high and probably this week's open and yesterday's high. What low does SPY have to break to confirm bearishness? So the low from, I think it's last week's low. I'll go over there in a minute, but we may get a buy signal here soon, so I want to stay on this chart. Whatever the lowest low we've made in the last week and a half is, if it breaks back below that, that's a very, very, very bad sign for the bulls. Bulls are pressing here. Let's see if we can get a buy. I have a 542 strike queued up. The horizontal move MAs tell the story. No dynamics so far, for sure. Yeah, it's been terrible. No trend yet defined, although the bulls are trying to press here. They do have a potential squeeze building. So far, they've been stuck to the pre-market high. That's been the key level of the day. They broke through it, came back below it, and now have just sat on it. So it's the level that's kind of keeping everything held together. As long as the bulls stay above that and get back above this 541.85 area, they can press on these highs and press up to this 545 area. A breakdown, however, as we see, a breakdown can test these lows at 539 and then very likely down to 536 if they can break through here. They haven't been able to break the opening print, fully break it, and until they can do that, the bulls are going to remain in control. At least the 8 moving average should point upward, downward. Yeah, I don't have that one. I don't use the 8, but I know some people that, like that one. 5 EMA, 20 EMA, VWAP all on top of each other. Yeah. When you get no price movement, everything bundles up. It creates what you call a moving average support and resistance zone. So you get a confluence of moving averages that can be very difficult for price to get through. If it's above, obviously it's support. If it's below, obviously it's resistance. So the biggest signal that you have right now that this market is bullish, for now anyway, is that you're running through a sell cycle and price isn't going down. So because I can see the back end of the indicator, I can see what's going on. And you're running into selling exhaustion and price didn't go anywhere. So that tells you that the selling is pretty weak in general for now. Can that accelerate and pick up? Absolutely. But for right now, the market is trying to exhaust a sell cycle and price hasn't moved down, really. I mean, it spiked down, but since that spike down, it's just gone sideways to up. Move in the afternoon, maybe. The market just needs to chill for a minute. I mean, this is not unexpected. After, again, 2 to 5% moves, 10% move last week. That's all excessive. And it's just like, think of it like this. You go to your parents' house on Thanksgiving and you eat 2 pounds of turkey and mashed potatoes and everything else. What do you want to do after that? You want to lay in the recliner and take a nap, right? Because you gorged yourself so much, you overextended your stomach so much that you had to shut down. Well, that's what the market did. It's overextended itself in both directions so much that it just needs to chill for a minute and reset everything, digest, if you will. There's a buy signal. Okay, so we got 542, 177 entry. Our stop is going to be 540.50. That was quick. $1.49. We will re-enter if we get this buy. That was a little unfortunate there. Let's stop out. All right, 177 again, guys. We're going to run it right back, except we're going to lower our stop a little bit to 40 because that's below that last low. Probably should have done that the first time. That's probably my fault on that trade. But we will take that trade again. See if they can break out. They do have a squeeze building. The selling's been weak. Should be able to get some momentum going here. So with 177, that's 34, 35 cents basically. So that's 212 would be our first take here. If they can just get through this high right here, we should be off and running. Since this bar, we've gotten every other bar. Red, green, red, green, red, green, red, green, red, green, red, green. So if this one can turn green and get us a little momentum going, that'd be great. All right, let's get through this high and we're good. Push on out there. Very much trying to get out of here. Seeing an uptick on the volt, seeing an uptick on ADD. Follow through here, guys. Come on. Show a little bit of gumption. That's a word nobody uses anymore, gumption. So close. They just got to get above this breakdown area right here. If they can get above this, they should come up and test at least 542.50 and probably the high. 16 seconds to break the streak. Can we get 2 green bars in a row? It's going to be close. Come on, push out of there. There you go, 2 green bars in a row. Not that this one was a great green bar, but it was green. There we go. Come on. Get through there. I wouldn't mind if they closed this gap right here first. I don't like having little gaps on the chart. They always want to come back and tag them. So if they start to break away, it worries me that they're going to come back and tag it. But if we can get 212 first, that'd be fine. Come on, get out of here. So close to getting through that breakdown zone. Okay, close the gap. That's good. Now let's go back up. Now they can comfortably run away. We've been spoiled. This is so slow. Everything else was moving in 1 or 2 bars. You'd be done. Feels like we're just one of those 50-cent jumps away from getting out of here, where the bar's kind of messing around and then it jumps up to like here real quick. They keep battling this zone of resistance, this breakdown zone I've been talking about. They can't get through it yet, but if they do, should jump pretty quick. Big if though. Haven't been able to. They've made 3 higher highs here, which is good. But no real conviction on either side, honestly. It's like watching paint dry. This is awful. Hopefully they get some movement going here. Certainly not the bar you want to see. Hopefully they don't. Hopefully it's just a stop run bar and they are able to hold above our stop, but we'll see. Only people making money today are iron condors. The PT income trade is killing today, probably. All sideways action, no movement. Yep, they got us there. 137 on the stop out. So tough day. I mean, you get the sell signal, and then you get the stop out, and then you just get this. It's tough for anybody to trade. Um, Unfortunately, that is how it goes sometimes. I'm going to give them another couple candles to see if they can actually break down here. If they do, I want to see if they come down in the pre-market low, but doesn't look overly promising for either side to make any kind of major move. It's been pretty dull, to be quite honest with you, and that just makes for bad trading. So we'll give them a couple more minutes here, see how they do, but about to shut it down for the day just because. Can they do any of these things? Can they collapse it back down to the pre-market low and or breakout? The answer is yes. Could we get a trade for that? The answer is yes. Am I really excited about that? The answer is no. On days where the market's not moving, I'm not trying to hope for the timing of the one move that does happen. You just get too many chops. So we'll see. I'm going to let them play this sell here out. See how they do over the next few, but this is just one of those days that isn't great for trading. It's not a trend day, but it's also not a movement day. If there's no movement, there's no trading. strange day today. I don't know if it's a strange day. I think it's a All right, last trade of the day. We're going to try to take this long and see how they do here. See if that was a stop run. So we've got 542 at 132. And our stop is going to be 539.75. So 26 here. We want 158 for our first take. This will be it for me. If it doesn't work out here, then we'll call it. If it does, then we will keep going. 26. What did I say that was? 26 1. 158. 158 is our first take. Oh, we're almost there already. Nice. All right, close half for 158. We get to ring the register. Yay! That'll Okay, we'll move our stops to 130. Let's see if we can get some momentum going. They have been building a squeeze on both the NASDAQ 5-minute and the ES 5-minute for about half hour or more now. So I do believe, based on the structure, that the squeeze should go up, since the bears have had no momentum and following through to the downside, even below like the opening print. So even there they closed below VWAP in the 21, and the bulls have so far pushed back above it. We'll see if they can hold on here or not. That's So it's very close here, but it could be a bar where the whole trade takes place in one bar, and that's why getting in as soon as possible is important, because we have a winning trade here all in one bar, and if you wait for that bar to close, then you don't get that winning trade that you would have gotten. Okay, there's unfortunately, our stop out there. So we stopped at 130. Our average exit is, what is that? 28 cents of 144. Yeah. Nobody able to get anything going here today in either direction. Now, if they take this back up, that'll be kind of how the day's gone, really. All right, guys. So I am going to go ahead and wrap it up. Obviously, when there's no movement in the market, we closed out there with a winner in the day on a positive note. When there's no movement in the market, there's just no trading. And the trades we've tried haven't been great today, and that's part of how it goes. But just so you're aware, those coupon codes, the yearly 10, 1, I don't ever discount the yearly, ever. So take advantage of that. I did it because it's tax day, tax returns. The tax man's taking money from you, so I'm trying to discount stuff to give a little back. And those codes will be good for about another half hour after I stop the stream, so I can get everybody set up with the indicator who already got it. Take advantage of those guys. It's a great deal. Again, give it the full 30 days. Days like this happen. That's just part of trading. Yesterday was a great day. Today, not so much. So that's just how it goes. Hopefully you learned stuff today. Hopefully you took away some value from the live stream. I appreciate you guys being here. And with that, we'll go ahead and shut it down. Thanks, everybody.